What's up, guys? Today is kind of a sad day. Last ride with the Z. Car is finding its new home today. It's a new owner. And I got some exciting projects coming up, so ride with me one last time. We're gonna start pulling the tops off. This one can be a bit tricky to do one-handed. There we go. Words to live by, if you ask me. Some brake pads and a belt I was gonna put on it. I'll turn it over to the new owner. Let him do it. He can get to know the little car a little bit. I hauled a battery in here the other day and it left some corrosion on the floor. Guess I should really have taken it out. But tops pop up. Pop the latches shut. I'm not gonna put them in the bags because it's just a little ways. As long as they don't hit on each other, it'll be all right. My luck, it'll rain on the way home and I'll be stopping to put them back on. But I turned it all, put it all back to stock, got this factory shift knob back in it and the factory wheel back on. Factory wheels and tires are back on it. In my opinion, it don't look quite as good like that, but it is what it is. He wants it all stock, so fine by me. I didn't want to give him my wheel and shift knob and other wheels anyway. I think we'll be able to use them on the next project. I like this car. It's gonna make me sad to see it go, but when opportunity shows its face, best you can do is just grab it by the horns. There it goes. I want to say I hope it's not out of my life forever, but at the same time, when you sell a car, you hope it's out of your life forever. Well, guys, here we go. Here's the update. So the Z was sold. I sold trade plus cash for it and picked up these. This is a 91 Miata. It was sold before I really bought it. I had a guy spoken for it. If I got my hands on it, he wanted it. So this car is currently got to get put back together. As you can see, it looks like an armadillo rooted through it. And then this is the one I'm keeping. This is an 04 RX-8. It's got some goodies in it, but I think these are all going with the Miata. It's got an NRG Prisma seat in it. It's pretty, but it's too small for me. And NRG quick release hub and wheel. And I let the guy who buy the Miata have it all. I already have my own wheel and whatnot, so we're good. Got some aftermarket tail lights in it. It's a little unit. It's got a harness bar too. Not sure how much of it's going to be usable. what all we're gonna actually do with this. So this is a Renesas 13B, I believe. Honestly, he put it in as a brand new motor. He just put it in and it got hot in 60 miles. And then this is the one he pulled out, and this is a Renesas 13B. I'm guessing that is the same thing, but like I said, I don't know for sure what it is. This one looks okay. There's most of this is actually a little bit of wear in there, but yeah, I got that one in case there were parts that were good on it that are not good on that. Really boogered up the back bumper. He was pulling it and the exhaust has been cut off. I think these cars are factory dual exit, and he hooked one of the exits with his chain and just, I mean, ripped it to shreds. And the back bumper was decent. It was savable. But my local junkyard has a silver RX-8, same year looks like, complete minus the wheels. So this may get a parts car yet at some point, depending on the budget. Today, even though we got the RX-8 and the Miata to work on, I got a new diff on the floor over here for my Miata. The project for now is this one. This is gonna be my current daily driver. I got an offer I couldn't refuse for the Corsica. So it's sold, and this is gonna be the new daily, I believe, if we can save it. So we're gonna see if we can't fix some of this paint. This is actually decent base coat. It doesn't look decent, I know, but it's moderately okay base coat. And this is just the clear coat's come off and it's faded out. So I believe most of this will come back. So we're gonna give it a shot and see what happens. Up here, this may be primer. We'll see. We'll get started on it. I'm gonna wet sand it with 3000 grit, see how much color comes back in it, and if we get any color back, then we'll continue on with the cut process and buff process from there. But if you see, it shines, you probably can't see that, but it shines red, more red. And when I washed it with a pressure washer, this all turned regular red again. So I think we have color here that will come back. So as you can see, this paint is really bad. We got some color back, but this all is just primer. And some of this is the clear coat turned white, and so getting it off has made it red again. And when we cut it and put a wax on it, we'll put a little bit of protective back on it. Obviously, this isn't something you want to do to a vehicle that you really like or really are worried about paint on. But this one here, we're just trying to get it a uniform color to where it doesn't look quite so ghetto. So I'm gonna get my big grinder and we're gonna run a coat of cut on this and see how it turns out. Hopefully it brings a little color back and kind of evens it out. Yeah, it's gonna have some white in the paint, but you know, if you take care or preserve what paint you have, it's better than just letting it all go away. So being this is not in the budget or nice enough to put a paint job on, we're gonna do it this way and see how it turns out. As you can see, it's not perfect, but it's not going to get better. Like I said, a lot of this is primer showing through the paint, and this here, I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but the clear coat's here, the paint's here, just the paint has changed color. I don't know what causes that, but I cut on it. We've got an amazing gloss here. It's you can totally see yourself in it. It's pretty. Scratches are out, but I was trying to get it to shine, and I'm running a medium cut on a heavy cut wheel, and it was getting the paint hot enough that I couldn't touch it. So it's gonna burn it if I do much more with that than that. So I'm thinking we'll probably leave this like it is and just except that it's not the best. And we'll put a coat of protectant on it. And like I said, I haven't buffed this off yet, so it is a little rough, but I think it will be better. So we're gonna put a wax on this now. This is typically how I do some of these bad paint jobs. I'm gonna run a black dyed wax on this. Be careful with it, but I'm hoping that it will darken down the non-clear coated areas. I don't think it will. Typically, in my experience, it doesn't do much outside of cover up some rock chips by darkening them down and not letting them be quite so silver or gray. But we will see. Maybe it will stain some darkness into this primer. So you can see we brought a little color back. Some of these bad imperfections did. Let me get a rag. Some of these bad imperfections did hide it. Obviously, it's still a different color red than here, and that's just what's going to happen. This clear coat's dulled and changed color. This is the base coat color, and the clear coat has changed the base coat perception of color over time. I mean, it is a 98 model. This looks like factory paint. So we'll do the hood. We'll see how we come out. It's better. Like, if this blew by you on the highway now, you're less likely to notice that it has really horrible paint, but I don't know. Who cares? It's not perfect, but we do have a shine. And I mean, you all saw what we started with here. I think it'll be worth doing the whole thing. I mean, that fender looks a lot better than the door. And the farther back you go in the vehicle, the better the paint seems to get. So, yep. This is kind of a cool ride. It's, you know what? I don't know the displacement. I've only had it a day. It's a 5-speed with a manual high-low transfer case, high-low box, whatever. And then it's got a 4-wheel drive button to actually engage the 4-wheel drive. So it does have some issues we will have to deal with. Apparently it had some rust in the back. It's missing the mount for the sway bar. These wheels are off a Toyota. I really don't know what. They honestly, to me, look like maybe a Highlander or a 4Runner. These actually look like 4Runner wheels. Yeah, I think they're 4Runner wheels. 16x7s. And then in these new tires, these are okay, but they're mismatched and look a little ghetto. But I really think most of this will clean up. I think it can actually look all red and be okay. Looks more like your normal mid-90s vehicle that had some bad paint. So I think we know enough to tackle it another day. I've buffed so much paint this week, I'm kind of over it. So we're gonna leave it because it's mine and I don't care. This is the next project I want to tackle. This car needs a new rear diff. Nothing else wrong with it. It's a good running driving car otherwise. But it's been sat up for almost a year. No, I parked it in January, I think. So 10 months, 9 months, whatever that is. But I need to pull the rear diff out of this. I have a new one sitting over there. It's a 1.6 VLSD. This car had a 1.6 VLSD. I made a mistake. I was driving to work. It doesn't really have any interior, and so it's very loud. And I kept hearing this whining noise, and I thought it was a wheel bearing going out because the car's got a decent amount of camber. I just figured, and I've never replaced a wheel bearing on this car. It's, as far as I know, OEM wheel bearings and 230,000 miles, and most of that's been slammed on some BC coilovers. So I kind of figured it was wheel bearings, and I wasn't too worried about it. You know, most of the time when they start making noise, you got a little while before you got to freak out. Well, it got worse and worse, and I started to freak out about it. And get it home, lift it up in the air, start spinning wheels, and they all sound fine. And so I put it in gear, put it in drive, and it was making just really chunky noises from the rear end. So pulled the rear end apart, and big chunks of metal came out of it, and no oil at all. So we lost the fluid somewhere, and the bearings are just really trashed. It sounds awful. So we're going to swap out the carrier and diff for another 1.6 VLSD diff that is in better shape and has solid polyurethane mounts. So we've got to pull this diff out, and I'm not honestly sure what all that entails, but I think it's fairly simple. Looks fairly simple. We will give it our best shot, and it'll be good. We will do what we can. Diff out. So I got it. This is the old one. Was a booger to get out. This is my blown up 1.6 diff and the new 1.6 diff. It has some rust on it, but I think we'll be fine. Now I guess it's time to wrestle that bad boy back in. Suckers are heavy to be working on the floor. It's a pain in the butt. So it's been a long night of it. It's like 11:30, something like that, 12 o'clock. And we're still not together here. New diff is in. It's not quite bolted up, but I'm calling it a night. It's just been a long day. We had to go to Florence, Alabama for this bad boy. This is together, mostly cleaned up. Got pretty much everything fixed up on it. Probably go take it out for a cruise tomorrow. Maybe we'll run some dirt roads with it. Take the wife out for a ride. My buddy got the Miata, looking like a Miata again. Got most of the stuff in the interior out and on the floor, looks like. So we're getting there slowly. Slap the bumper on the RX-8. This car makes me happy. So this is the shop status for tonight. I'll come back in the morning and we'll try to finish this up. Catch you all in the morning. Well, it's been 2 days and a whole bunch of work, and we're finally done with the Miata. It's not ready to drive yet, but I got it cleaned up and pretty sitting here. It leaked some oil on the floor, and when I had it at my buddy's shop, it had a big oil stain under it, and I checked all the fluids and everything's fine. So I guess I got something leaking. I don't know what it is. Maybe a clutch or brake or something. So we've got to hunt down and find out what that is before it's drivable. But I cleaned up pretty good for having been parked up almost 8 months. The new diff went in fine. That's the old one over there. It all bolted up pretty decent. I got polyurethane mounts in now, and I'm very excited to see how it rides. I'm excited to take it out and cruise it. So maybe tomorrow or on another episode we'll attack the oil leak on this, but I'm gonna call it a wrap for now. Makes me happy seeing it here all pretty. I bought a new car cover. Went to Walmart, $27 for a cheapo to keep old boy's funky rump. Got Gates over here. Say hi, Gates. He'll make a good shop dog someday. This dude needs a new home. I don't like him walking on my cars. We'll cover the car up and call it a day, and that will keep Theory from putting cat tracks all over this. These other ones, that one is dirty and hasn't been cleaned yet. This one I haven't started on. hopefully that can happen fairly soon, but I feel like this is going to be a very large project and will probably take a lot of my time, so we may wait a minute before we get into trying to get this all together. I have a basic idea of how rotaries work, but not a good one. So I've never had one apart, and took a broom to the other Miata, knocked some of the dirt off of it so it doesn't look quite so bad in here. And yeah, I think we're good to call it a night. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. But we'll be back next time, probably to attack the oil leak on this thing. And in the future, you can plan on seeing episodes of the RX-8 teardown and rebuild. So I got big plans for it. We'll see how it works out financially, but hopefully it works out well. But until next time, have a good one. Get out there and build something.